Dallas Cowboys take. We don't have a good one for you. We just got a show. We usually say good one, but not a good one. We lost. We lost 19-9 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyler, Sean, Ryu, Dallas Cowboys take. Shout out to OC Hard Hitters as always. Spoons, Dyer, Santa City, Santa, Chapman Brewery. Go see my boy Randy from Chapman and Glacelle, the city of Orange. Go kind of quick here, but I want to get straight to it because we got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna start you off, Tyler. I want. I don't know where to go with this, man. Usually you go overall impressions, blah blah blah. Just you know what? Just go. What did you think about that freaking egg that we laid against the Kansas City Chiefs?
So from my optimistic side, from my trying to put things in some kind of a perspective of positivity, 2 of our 3 losses this year were against the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. We were on the road in the loudest stadium in the NFL. The Chiefs were healthy, and we were not. And to say, oh, well, we only had 2 injuries on offense, it's 2 pretty big injuries. Our starting left tackle, who's an All-Pro, and our starting receiver, who's an All-Pro. And then we lost CeeDee Lamb at the half. Zeke was getting all banged up. That being said, I think Kellen Moore called a pretty terrible game. He didn't make any adjustments. When you have receivers in the game who aren't as good as route runners and they're getting single covered by the DBs, you need to adjust your play calling to let them run quicker routes, cross up the DBs, and something like that. I didn't see any of that. The defense played really well. They held a very good offense under 20 points on the road. And Micah Parsons is a beast. Many praises to him. But that's my take.
Yeah, you got some good points that I'm gonna touch on as well. What was your take on the whole thing, Sean?
Pretty much the same thing. I'll actually be a little bit more optimistic. 10 points. Defense held to 19 points. Offense has got to score. Bottom line, we need people to chase. That's the way our team is. We need people to chase, and so in order for them to do that, we got to score. Like Tyler said, 19 points, not too bad. I take it. You know what I mean? So there was a couple things where we tried to disguise the defense, and when you disguise defense, you're putting someone in the wrong position on purpose, and then they got to get back. So I noticed that the guys trying to get back, they were late. Mahomes just picked them apart. So that kind of stuff, we stopped it towards the second half, but in the beginning, But overall, I know we're going to get into more stuff, but overall, offense has got to score, and I think that I don't know if it's Kellen Moore's play calling or if it's more of that Dak doesn't check off, because Dak sees the mic and he calls the cadence and he sees the mic going and he doesn't check off. Why isn't he checking hot? Why isn't he checking off? Because so we got these plays going down 15, 20 yards. He sees a blitz. How come he doesn't check off like a Brady or a Manning and then check off and kill that play and go to some short routes? He tries to be a hero and tries to make things happen. And I think he just tried a little bit too much. And I think he didn't check out of some plays that he should have checked out. And so I'm not sure if it's Kellen Moore or more of a Dak trying too much.
Well, my first impression, second, and last impression is I'm glad you guys are optimistic because somebody has to be over here because I am not. I'm going to go with Tyler. What Tyler said, the 2 out of 3 games we lost was against Tampa Bay and KC, which are the last Super Bowl teams, right? So is that a barometer of how we are? We can't compete against the Super Bowl teams? Are we not at that level yet? That's what I'm thinking. Like, I know we played Tampa Bay well in the first game. That was the first game, okay. But this was your chance to put the NFL on notice, like Cowboys are for reals. And you go in there and you have a performance like this, and you can't. I don't want to put it on injuries. I don't want to be like, oh, injuries, this and that, because everybody has injuries. Just don't want to do that. So I'm on the other side. I mean, I want to be optimistic about it, but that to me, I was going into this game saying I said in the show last week, I said, is this a statement game? We win, this is going to be a statement game, right? And not that we lost, it's just how we lost. So we did the exact opposite of giving the statement. We laid an egg.
Well, we made a statement. It was just the wrong one.
That's what I'm saying. It was the wrong one to me, and maybe not to you. To me, it's telling me we can't compete with the Super Bowl caliber teams. We can't compete with the big boys. And I mean, we can compete, but we just can't beat them. We're a good team, but we're not a great team. That's what it tells me. But we have a lot of football to play. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. But like I said in the last two shows, until they prove otherwise, I'm gonna keep thinking that, dude. And it goes to, what teams have we beat? We beat all the teams we're supposed to beat, right?
Yeah.
And we beat the Patriots, but I mean the Patriots are good. The Patriots are rolling now, but they weren't rolling when we beat them. You know what I mean? And we beat the Vikings without Dak Prescott. I get that, but we beat the Chargers, and okay, that's a good team, but it's like, man, what good teams have we beat? And so it's like, shit. Are we that good? Or are we?
There's
no.
I heard a good take from Ryan Clark, basically comparing Pat Mahomes and Dak Prescott. And basically what he was saying is Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboy offense, they went in there with the idea that we're the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to do what we do because we're just better. And the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes went in there and said, you know what, we're going to take what the defense gives us. And it might not be the prettiest. We're not going to hit the home runs, but we're going to drive down the field and score. And in the first half, that's what they did. There was plenty of times where Dak Prescott sometimes he had open guys and wouldn't hit them. Sometimes, there was a couple of drop passes. But all in all, it looked like Dak Prescott had happy feet. He couldn't handle the pressure that was coming at him. And the offensive line played terribly. And Dak Prescott just couldn't make any adjustments. When the offensive line is showing you that they're getting beat, you have to create shorter routes to get the ball out of Dak's hands quicker. All the routes these receivers were running were long developing routes, like a 10, 12-yard curl or a 10-yard dig or a post. And there was no crossing. There was no change of direction. It was just very simple, easy to cover routes and long developing. And Dak didn't have time for that.
No, I completely agree. Now I'm going to get into that with the offensive play call and all that stuff and Kellen Moore. But like Sean, what did you like? And Tyler talked about it, a few minutes ago about Kellen Moore. What did you think of his play calling? Because I have my opinions. I wrote it down and I'm going to talk about it. But I want to get your point of view. What about Kellen Moore and that play calling he had?
I don't know. Did we abandon the run? I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, you gotta run it. You gotta run the ball. I mean, that's our bread and butter. When you gotta run the ball, I think we abandoned the run too quick. And like Tyler was just saying, shorter routes. I know Dak has he can call off those longer routes, and he should have. But is it Kellen Moore calling two plays back to back where one's longer and the other one's just as long? And so if he checks off, is it going to be another long route? I don't know, but he should be able to kill any play to shorter routes. But I don't know if it was Kellen Moore or if it's just Dak trying to do too much. He did have happy feet. He gets really nervous when he's in the pocket. When the pocket curls around him, he gets really nervous. And he should have an outlet, and he should throw that outlet all the time. I think he was a little late, and he did check off to the outlet a lot, but he was really late, and it created that the guy got creamed right after he caught the ball. I mean, if you're going to check down, you got to throw that ball right away. But I didn't like us abandoning the run. Why? There's no reason why we shouldn't abandon the run. Keep the ball. We need to keep the ball as long as possible so the defense can stay off the field, and running does it. I don't care if you get 3-4 yards of play. It's not pretty, but who gives a shit? 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, 4. Who cares? Go around down the field, and that's what we have to do. But it gets pretty a little bit. But again, in prior games, he got pretty too, and it worked, right? So, I don't know, but the run, we definitely got it. We got to keep the run. And Tyron Smith being out affected the run big time also, and it affected Dak's confidence.
Well, that's I'm glad you brought those up because I think Kellen Moore called a piss poor game, probably the worst he's called this year. When you only run the ball 16 times, you're not going to win. When that's our bread and butter, we have thunder and lightning back there. When you run the ball more than you pass the ball, the Cowboys are 29-0 when they run the ball more than they pass the ball. if you're an offensive coordinator, if you're an OC, you should know that. Like, we have to run the ball. We have to establish the run. What is the run? What establish the run? What does it do? It sets up the play action. And like Tyler said, it sets up the short routes. It shows up the pop pass. Now, KC was very smart. Number one, we got out coached. Bottom line is we got out coached because Chris Jones had 3.5 sacks. On obvious running downs, they put him at tackle. On obvious passing downs, they put him at end. They moved him all down the line. And so they said, you're not going to be able to block our guy. So now when you have Mari Cooper out, right? And then you have CeeDee Lamb, he got hurt and he was out. Why do you continue to air out the ball when you don't have your number one, number two receiver out there? I don't get it. Like, and like you said, Terrence Steele was having a crappy day. Our line was having a crappy day. So what do? You do some draws, you do some pop passes, you do some crosses, like Tyler said. You get them, keep them on your toes. But when you're just going back there to pass, Spagnuolo, what do? He just blitz. So you have to counter that with draws. You have to counter that with little pop passes. You have to counter that with running the ball because that stops them from blitzing so much. And that's why Dak was running for his life the whole game. And when you're talking about checking down, Sean, checking out, Dak wasn't able to do that a whole lot because it was so loud. He couldn't check out and go to anything else. So those plays were called by Kellen Moore. You can't run the ball 16 times with that. With the offensive line that we had, we banged up. I get it. I'd rather run the ball with the banged up line than pass the ball with the banged up line. Because number one, you're going to get Dak hurt with the banged up line if they can't block, And number two, you're going to get positive yards, 1 or 2 yards, like you said, Sean, 4 yards here and there, versus getting sacked or throwing an interception or Dak getting hurt. That you don't want that. So Kellen Moore, to me, just a terrible game, and he abandoned the run, like you guys said. You only abandon the run when you're down by 20 points or so. We were only down by what was it? 6-0. Then 9-0. Then 13-3, 16-3. We're only 10 points. We're not down by a whole lot, and you abandoned the run. So you gave Spagnuolo. He's like, I blitz all the time, anyways. Now you're giving me free range. I'm going to blitz all the time because I know you're going to pass. So to me, it was just terrible play calling by Kellen Moore, and we know Dak Prescott had a terrible day. Now, Tyler, what did you see from that? I saw we just got, again, like we did against the Broncos. They manhandled us. I mean, that's what I saw. Did you see it? Were they more physical than us? Because I watched it again, and they were just more physical than us.
Yeah, obviously it always starts in the trenches. It always starts with the O line versus D line and D line and vice versa. Well, our defensive line can hold their own. For the most part, they were getting us on a lot of the short passes, right? And that's where your D line is the most ineffective because they can't get a pass rush, and they can't make tackles in the backfield because they're not running the ball, and the receivers are getting the ball in open field. But against the run, I mean, the Chiefs aren't really a great running team, anyways. But our D line did good. Mike Parsons is a beast. We're going to have more good D-line guys coming off injury. But our offensive line looked absolutely lethargic. It almost looked like in their heads they could just stand there and their blocks would get made. The Chiefs had 11 sacks coming into that game. Now, granted, Chris Jones has been injured a lot of the year, but they had 11 sacks coming into that game. And Dak Prescott never had more than 2 or 3 seconds to throw the ball. And they were, I know you brought up they were blitzing a lot, but they were getting pressure with a 4-man rush on us. And Chris Jones would line up all the way around the D-line. None of our offensive linemen can block him, including Zach Martin. The whole offensive line looked like it just had a lethargic game. Like they all ate a bunch of freaking, I don't know what was going on. They all ate too much pasta and they were too heavy on their feet going into the game. But yeah, the offensive line got completely manhandled.
It looked like it reminded me of Jason Garrett against Spagnuolo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really did. I went back and flashback, like, what the heck, because Spagnuolo always has our number, always, no matter what. When he was coaching for the Giants, it was just, and it just, I thought, well, it's not going to happen this time. So we got Kellen Moore now. He does change. It looked the same.
Yeah, I agree. It looked really, really vanilla. I didn't see a whole lot of motions. I didn't see a whole lot of creativity. Usually when a defense is that aggressive, you use that aggressiveness against them. And I was talking about draws and out of the backfield. That Zeke blocks for a second, then goes out of the backfield and catches down the middle or catches it on the flats. Take what the defense is going to give you, like Mahomes did, and there was none of that there. There was no creativity. Did you guys see any adjustments at halftime? Because I went to halftime and said, okay, we know what they're running now. We know what they're doing. Kellen Moore's going to make adjustments. I personally didn't see any.
The one thing I saw, and I say this all the time, like when teams are being overly aggressive, you got to hit them with a screen every once in a while.
Yes.
Get them in close to Dak Prescott and throw a screen.
Right.
Against the Chiefs in this game, I think the Cowboys ran too many screens and they weren't working because the linebackers were flying around. Like I said, the offensive line was lethargic. It looks like the offensive line forgot that it was a screen, and they forgot that they had to go out and block for the guy who was catching the ball. And I think I counted close to 10, maybe not 10 screens, but close to 10 screens. I'm like, okay, the screens aren't working. Stop running the screens because we keep losing yards on them or get an incomplete pass. And so I think they made that adjustment, but then it didn't work, and then they didn't adjust back out of it. And again, this goes back to just being able to establish the run. If you want to slow down an aggressive pass rush, you have to run the ball.
Exactly. You gotta take advantage of their aggressiveness, and when they're blitzing and they're so aggressive like that, because the ends are you run right, you got to run it. You got to run it, and it's going to stop those blitzes. It's going to stop their aggressiveness. But Sean, let me ask you this: do you think? I'm tough. This is a tough one. Do you think Dak is a tier 1 QB right now in the NFL?
You talk about president of the moment all the time. Yeah, I know. Of course he is, dude. Of course he is.
So he's up there with the Brady, and he's up there with Mahomes, and he's up there with Rodgers. That's tier 1, dude.
No. Okay, if you're saying that, no, he's not.
Okay.
Because a Rodgers or a Brady or something, they ain't getting sacked. Just flat out, they're not getting sacked. They're gonna call the right play. Those guys are just a different level up here. He's not there yet. Physically, I think he's there. Mentally, I don't think he's there yet.
What do you think, T?
I'm gonna say no. What we've seen from the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, Drew Brees while he was there, Peyton Manning while he was there, is they can beat good teams, and they find ways to win, even if they don't have their best players around them, even if they don't have the all-star cast around them, and Dak Prescott hasn't shown that he can do that yet. And it's not just this year. It's been since he's been in the NFL. He had a great rookie season where he barely threw the ball, and his sophomore year where he barely threw the ball. But in these past 3 seasons, he hasn't been able to beat good teams. And
I agree.
If God forbid his offensive line isn't healthy, because he gets happy feet when there's pressure. So no, he's not tier 1. Can he be? Yeah, we see glimpses of it, obviously, in his 400-yard passing games, and we see it sometimes, but he's not there consistently.
Yeah, I think that maybe not us because we don't talk about it much, but I think they should stop. They should put the MVP, Dak as an MVP conversation away. I don't think he is. He's good, but he's not great yet. Can he be great? Absolutely, he can be great. He's just not there yet. And then if you guys watch the game, Kansas City was playing a lot of man, especially when Amari Cooper's out and CeeDee Lamb goes out. So when they're playing man, guess what you can do? When nobody's open, like Sean says, he tries to be too cute and tries to force things in there. Get your 5 yards and run the ball and slide. Get your positive yards and slide or get out of bounds or whatever. I don't understand why he doesn't do that.
He's supposed to be a mobile quarterback.
Right.
He's supposed to be a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. Like, he holds on to the ball too long.
He's timid ever since his injury.
Yeah, I get that, but it's frustrating because he has an opening to get positive yards instead of taking a sack or an interception or throwing the ball away. Matter of fact, he rarely throws the ball away. He always tries to fit it. He tries to fit it in somewhere.
Always.
But take the positive yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, whatever it is, slide, go out of bounds. I don't understand, especially when they're playing man, because their backs are turned. They're not looking at you. If they're playing zone, they're going to see you. They're playing man, they're not going to see you. You're gonna get your positive yards. I don't get that. Let me ask you this, Sean. Do you think it was a mistake? I'll go start with you, but it's the same question to both of you, Sean. Do you think it was a mistake? Because I believe in continuity. Do you think it was a mistake to start Connor McGovern versus Connor Williams? Because in Connor Williams, and Tyler and Ernie's favorite website, Pro Football Focus, this guy was graded pretty high, and we decided to take him out and put McGovern in there. Do you think that was a mistake? A left guard?
Well, obviously we can see it's a mistake because, I mean, like Tyler was saying, these guys were just walking right in. I mean, it's just the whole chemistry of the line just didn't seem there. Something was wrong. And if you mess with something and you add someone, they really got to communicate. And these guys, week in and week out, are communicating. They're gelling. You got to keep the same guy in there. It doesn't matter what. Connor Williams is not. He's not. I'm not his biggest fan, but you know what? You got to stick with him, and they communicate. Like I said, they got to gel with Connor McGovern. It just looked like they weren't communicating.
All right, that's what I do. What do you think, T?
So I think that the Cowboys needed to make a move at left guard. In my opinion, I would have kept Steele at right tackle and tried Lyle Collins at left guard. To be honest, because Steele was playing very well at right guard, or at right tackle, and obviously he's struggling at left tackle. And if you have an opportunity to put your best 5 offensive linemen on the field, then Steele can play right tackle and Collins can play left guard. Guard's an easier position to transition to than tackle. And as far as Connor McGovern goes, I mean, the coaches see him in practice. The coaches watch the game film. They've been talking about this for a while, and Connor Williams obviously didn't do something. He wasn't playing well enough to keep his spot. Now, the timing of it is what I didn't like. You have 3 games in 12 days, which means you have less time to prepare for each game. And I don't think it was the right time to make that switch, personally.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that's like, if it's not broke, then don't try to fix it. You're 7-2. You lost to Tampa Bay, which is a Super Bowl team, and you laid an egg against Denver, which every team does that. Every team's gonna do at least one of those every year. So you're 7-2. Why change things up? Why do that? I agree with you, Tyler. I would love to have Lyle Collins at left guard and Terrence Steele at right tackle. Why not? It's your 5 best lining up. So I think that would be a great idea, but I thought it was a bad idea in putting McGovern there. And for the points that you say, 3 games in 12 days, that doesn't make any sense to me. And continuity, I think the continuity got a little jacked up there. I didn't agree with it. Not saying if Connor Williams was there, we would have won. I don't like the idea.
Yeah, I'm not against making in-season changes, even if you're 7-2. I mean, they could have been 9-0. But if you see a weakness on your team that you think you can improve, then make that change. But and obviously Connor Williams has been a weakness with penalties. He's gotten blown off the ball. And I don't want to say that Connor McGovern's terrible because he only started 1 game. And so, but I just don't think it was the right time to make that move.
Agree.
Like I said, 3 games in 12 days.
Agree. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna stop talking about KC. It's done and over with. We look like shit. We all know that. We're gonna move on to the Raiders, because if I said the Falcons was a must win, the reason why I said the Falcons was a must win is because if we lost that one and we lost this one, that would have been 2 in a row. Then the Raiders would be 3. That would be just bad. Now, okay. So before we get into the Raiders, I've talked to Joey about this. The Eagles, they're not too far away from us, dude. And they have the 2nd easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. They play the Giants twice, the Redskins twice, us, and they play the Jets. It's a cake freaking schedule they have. Yeah. Cake schedule, right? We still got to play the Raiders, Saints, and we got to play the Cardinals, and of course the Redskins and the Giants and the Eagles. They're right behind our ass. And they're playing good right now. And they're playing the Giants this week. Hopefully the Giants can beat them. I don't know. Now that Jason Garrett, Coach Clapper got fired, that they might be able to win. I don't know. But they're only 2.5 behind us. I think, even though this is an AFC team, I think this is a must-win. Quick answer, Sean. Do you think it's a must-win?
Yes, by far.
Tyler?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a must-win. Tyler went offline for a little bit there. There he goes. So we all know this is a copycat league, right? KC did pretty much what Denver did. They blitzed the shit out of us. The Raiders' front 4 is actually better than KC's is. Max Crosby for the Raiders is the number 1 rated defensive end according to PFF Pro Football Focus in the NFL. So if we have problems with Chris Jones, we're going to have problems with Max Crosby and the rest of their D line. So I this is a tough one, and I'm not going to get a prediction yet. But well, Sean, what do you think that the key to victory is against the Raiders?
Well, Raiders haven't won in a month.
Right.
They're a mess.
Right. That's the problem.
So, yeah, I mean that's a good problem. I think we don't want them having confidence coming back. I mean, they lost 3 in a row. That's what we want. But I think overall, I don't want to get into predictions either right now because I have mine. But after we lose a game, what happens? We come back strong, man. It's just so we lost this and it hurt. It hurt because everyone out there saying Dak can't win the big one. The Cowboys are not this big team that everyone's putting them on a pedestal. They're hearing all this stuff. Of course they are, right? Can't beat Mahomes, all this stuff. So I think they'll come back and we keep talking about statement games. This is a statement game. I mean, it's on Thanksgiving, I know we lost the last 2, right?
Yep.
But, we're a different team. We're a different team. And
tired of you guys saying that shit. We're a different team.
They
haven't shown me otherwise, dude. They have not shown me otherwise, dude.
What's our record compared to last year? How did they not show you otherwise?
I give you that, but they're beating who they're supposed to beat. That's my thing.
You say that last year and the year before too, right?
Well,
we're supposed to beat those people we lost. We're supposed to beat those people we lost. We're supposed to.
Yeah. Huh?
It is a different team, definitely. We can't say it's the same team.
Okay, but what are the keys to our victory? That's the question.
Got to run the ball.
There you go. Thank you.
Got to run the ball.
Oh, Kellen Moore's watching. What do you? We got to run the damn ball.
I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he is. I'm gonna send this shit to him, dude.
Yeah, we'll send him a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a must win. Yes, keys to winning. I mean, we got to run the ball. We got to get back to that identity that we had weeks 2 through 5, right, where we were running for 200 yards a game. We need to get back to that. I've also been hearing whispers that Zeke's running out of gas. Right, it's a long season, right? Use Pollard more. Pollard does not look like he's running out of gas. Mix in runs with some of the receivers if you got healthy receivers. But they gotta run the ball. And then honestly, Dak Prescott wants to be the $40 million quarterback. He wants to be the big shot. He hails himself as the leader of this team, as well he should. Well, he needs to freaking man up and start being a leader. And if we start struggling, he needs to take the team on his back and carry it. And so that's one of my keys. Dak Prescott has to wake up, and we need to run the ball.
Yeah, I agree. We got to run the ball. Like I said, 29-0, we run the ball more than we pass. I'm not saying we have to run more than we pass, but we got to run the damn ball more than 16 times. You got to give Zeke 8 to 20 carries and give Pollard, 10 to 12 carries, something like that. You know what I mean? That's the key to victory, and it has been in the past. So we have to run the ball, and then, Dak needs to take what the defense gives him. Find your safety valve and go with that. You know what I mean? No, that's open. Run it, safety valve. Whatever the case may be. But we have to establish the run, and that'll set up the play action. Now, as play action, running the ball sets up the play action. Now, I sent you guys something that CD. It looks like CD is going to play, right? Mm-hmm. That's a huge deal for us. So, as we get into it in a minute from here, we're gonna make our prediction for CD playing, or let's just say CD's playing. So we're gonna make our predictions for that. But I think the Chiefs are gonna do a lot what the KC did. They're gonna play a lot of man-to-man. They're gonna try to be more physical than us, and they're gonna blitz. Now we're gonna go back real quick before we get into predictions. Did you guys see any adjustments after half where he kept the chipper in to help chip on Chris Jones or defense? I didn't see any of that. I might have missed it. Did you guys see Kellen Moore keep? I don't understand why he didn't keep a chipper in there when we're getting schooled on the line.
I saw adjustments that the Chiefs made. They were blitzing on nickel defense, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So we gotta be able to block, and we gotta have a chipper when we do pass the obvious passing downs. But when we get 8 yards on a first down, like Zeke did, and I told you guys about it, Zeke got 8 yards. And the next play, we passed the damn ball. It's like he just got 8. Run it again.
I said that in the group chat during the game. I know you don't pay as much attention to the group chat during the games, but right after they ran it, they got 8 yards. On the next play, they lost yards, and then on third down, they lost yards.
Right.
And I'm like, why not run it on 2nd and 2 and get the first down?
That's what I'm saying. Get your first down, extend your drive, and like Sean said, keep your defense off the field, keep Mahomes off the field. You limit the other quarterback like a Mahomes. You limit his possessions. He scores less points.
And you take the ball away from Dak. He doesn't have to think so much.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's like we're back to Tyler said. In his rookie year, he didn't throw the ball that much. We ran the ball shitload of times, and we went 13-3 that year. I mean, we won 11 in a row because he was handing the ball off.
He ran the ball too that year.
And he ran the ball as well. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what we have to do to win this game. Now, let's go to the all-important, my favorite time of the show is prediction time. I'm going to start with Tyler. What is your prediction for this game tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time?
Because they have no choice but to win, the Cowboys are going to win. Also, the Raiders, I think, are on a kind of a downhill spiral right now. I'm thinking Cowboys 31, Raiders 17.
Ooh, wow, 14 points.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean, what do you got?
Man, he was pretty close to what I got. I think Cowboys win, and it's going to be 34-17. I think they're going to come out strong, come out hyped. It's Thanksgiving Day. I think hopefully they got an ass chewing. But defense is strong right now. I like the way defense is playing. Holding Mahomes to 19 points is nothing to hang your head on. So if they come in with the same defense mentality, they can shut down Carr and that high-powered Raiders offense that they have over there. So we just got to score.
Yeah, Carr is second in pass yards per game behind Brady, so it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy tomorrow. What's he doing though? What's
Carr doing though? He's hitting the 5-yard route, the 10-yard route, right? The 10-yard, the 5-yard route, and then they're making plays. That's what Dak's got to do.
He's hitting his tight end Waller, and he's going to be trouble for us. Watch. Let me ask you guys a question. When you're in Vegas, and you're in a casino, and you go by a roulette table, when you see 7 or 8 blacks, don't you want to just put it on red? I do. I'll go and put some money on red because it's bound to happen where red's going to come up, right? And I'm like Sean said, they lost 3 in a row, which is a good thing. To me, that's kind of a bad. I don't want them winning 3 in a row because that'd be in a hot streak. But to me, it's kind of like they lost 3 in a row. Now they're bound to win the next one, right? It's like roulette. They're bound to win the next one. So I'm like, losing 3 in a row is not good for me. 2 out of 3 would be good, but so my prediction is very tough for me to say this shit because I said it last week and we lost. I don't want to jinx it. So if I say we lose, we're gonna lose like I'm correct, and I don't want to be. But it's a copycat league, guys, and I don't think Vegas is giving Raiders enough credit. They did start off 5-2. They did lose 3 in a row, and Vegas is giving us -7. That's way too much for me. I think anytime we get too much respect, we lay an egg. So it pains me to say this, but I'm going with the Raiders are going to win 27-24. And it sucks, man. It really because and I'm at that point, Sean, where like until they prove me otherwise, if they prove otherwise this game, then I'll stop thinking that way and I'll be like, okay, Raiders are a decent team and they beat them.
I think what they have proved, other than the Denver Bronco game, I think what they have proved is they can beat the standard to substandard teams. It's the good teams they struggle with. So, and then the state of the Raiders franchise, I'm not just looking at their record of 5-5 or that they've lost 3 in a row. The state of their franchise is not good. You have the head coach issues. You got receivers hitting people with their cars. Yeah, it's just, Derek Carr's, are they going to give him a new contract or not? So there's just a lot of distractions in Las Vegas right now. So that's my take on the Raiders.
And that the interim coach right now, he was the special teams coach for us. He's going to want to get at us. I mean, It's not a big deal, but he's going to want to get at us. So Sean, what was your score again? I got Tyler's 31-17. What was yours?
34-17.
34-17. Man, you guys have. I like you guys. You guys are very optimistic about the Cowboys, man. You guys think they're a different team. Rightfully so. You should think they are. You should think they are.
Well, they are. Their defense has shown that they're a different team.
Yeah.
Defense has shown they're a different team, but as Cowboys know, as diehard Cowboy fans we know 1 week the offense explodes, the defense plays like shit. You know what I mean? It's rarely where they're both playing good together. But they did a couple games this year against Atlanta, it was a crappy team or whatever. But I don't see them both playing good at the same time. I think the offense is going to show out, but then I see the defense not doing as well. It's tough for me. But I'm glad I got you guys here to say, hey, next week put it in your mouth, Ryan, because you were wrong.
Well, we had to do it this time because you were right.
Yeah, that's right.
I got a question for you guys. I don't know how much time we have. How would you feel about putting Trayvon Diggs on Waller the entire game?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that because they got Hunter Renfrow. That's about it, right? After that, they got Renfrow. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. How would you do that? You'd have to put him on the inside.
He'd have to just follow him everywhere he went, dude.
He would just shout it. He would just shadow Waller everywhere. And I think because of his size, he's a taller corner, and obviously Waller's like 6'7". So
yeah, he's a big boy.
Oh
well.
So wife's calling, so I got to answer.
All right, you go. Yeah. So Joey's watching the show. He's gonna be watching. So I got to tell Joey and Tyler and you, Sean. Yep. You guys need to put it in your mouth because the Chiefs won. I didn't like the fact that they won, but I told you they win. Hopefully,
what's scary is that you're making this prediction, and I'm not even like going crazy like I did last week because I'm like,
that's what's crazy. Yeah, last week you're like, oh my God, you're not. That's not cool. You can't do that. And this week you didn't even say anything.
I'm just like, man, that could happen. It's going to go that way or the other way. I think if we don't blow them out 34-17, it could be a game like 24-27, like you're saying, and they win. But if that happens, we're in trouble. We are definitely in trouble. The Eagles, like you said, the Eagles are on our back, and
they're gonna win. They're on fire right now. They're gonna win their next few games. I know that because they're not playing. They're playing the Giants and they're playing the Jets. So if we lose a game or we play the Saints next, we lose 2 more, we're tied with them. This is be the worst freaking breakdown. It'd be terrible after starting out 6-1 and 7-2. It's just it'll be crazy.
We'll see, man. I'm nervous now, man.
I'm telling you. So we'll be watching the game tomorrow, and if we lose, right there, you just say, "Hey, Ryan, you put it in your mouth, dude."
Whatever. And then you say the opposite too.
I will, and then you can say it on the show again next week. But those are predictions. We'll see you tomorrow. Go boys!
All right, go boys.
That's it. All right, see you later. End this.